Hello, everybody, and welcome to GravityKit Live. I'm Zach Katz.
Hey, everybody. I'm Casey.
And yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today with GravityKit, and I'm excited to talk about like one of the questions that we get a lot in GravityKit support is when to use different functionality when you want to show or hide show or hide content based on the values of an entry, or like how do I filter results based on who's logged in. We get a lot of questions about this, and so I'm really glad that we're going to take some time today to dive into in depth about that. But first, we have some other items to address, namely GravityKit, GravityView. We have a new version of GravityView coming out called GravityView 3.0. It's coming out later in March, and we want to make sure that it's compatible with everybody who's done any custom code. So if you have developed custom code, if you are an agency that builds on top of GravityKit, if you've added code snippets to your website that have modified GravityView behavior, we want to make sure that what we have is compatible with what you're doing. We're trying to make as much backward compatibility as possible, but we want to make sure that you are on board with the new changes and it doesn't break anything on your website. So we have started a sign-up form for a developer program where you can apply to be a beta tester. And so if you have customized your website using hooks that modify GravityView at all, please apply to be a beta tester. You'll get early access to GravityView 3.0. We want to make sure that everything we are doing is compatible with what you are doing. So yeah, GravityView 3.0 is a complete refactor of the plugin to be way easier for developers to understand where things are happening, and also for AI to be able to know where things are happening in the plugin. So it'll be easier for you to customize using AI, and it's easier for us to build new features as well. So sign up at gravitykit.com/beta-tester and submit your form today, and we will get in touch with you.
Yeah, I think this is really exciting, and it's going to be great to have some users testing this with us and helping to refine the release.
Yeah, and this is just the start of our beta tester program. We have a checkbox in the GravityKit settings that says, like, I want to beta test new features. We actually, spoiler alert, haven't really used that very much over the years, but we're working on adding more support for that. So please reach out, get in touch. We are spending more time on the beta tester program, so we want to make sure that we are supporting whatever you've done with GravityKit. So before we continue, I want to say hi, Ken.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for joining.
And if you are watching live, please leave your comments in the chat. We're here to answer any questions that you have about GravityKit. As we present on any different topics, feel free to ask questions at that time, and we'll address those questions live.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. So yeah, let's go through a couple of quick announcements. I wanted to quickly highlight this new case study that we released with Deja Vu Studio, which is a full-service WordPress agency operating out of Taiwan. And I thought this highlighted just such a great use case for GravityKit. And this was a case study where we chatted with Yu Li from Taiwan, and she told us how they built this data management system for doctors and device manufacturers in the medical industry. So essentially, they had been using Gravity Forms, and then they had this client project that required a data-driven reporting system based around Gravity Forms entries. And they obviously found GravityKit. And the really cool thing about this project is that they had sort of different requirements for doctors and manufacturers. So the doctors had like a workflow for submitting surgery reports. Then they needed like a portal where they could retrieve those reports and have access to the data for academic writing and clinical work and things like that. And then the device manufacturers or the medical equipment manufacturers needed to be able to track their equipment models and their status across different hospitals. and they needed to like be able to file this stuff and manage all the data in a centralized system. So they use GravityView for the structured front-end displays, Gravity Edit for helping to update things more quickly, Gravity Revisions for maintaining a full history of all the data and what had changed, and then GravityImport for actually importing the surgery logs into the system to get it going. So I just thought that was such a cool use case, and we love to write up case studies like this. So if anybody listening is working on a cool project involving GravityKit, we would love to get in touch and learn more.
Yeah, and we've had a similar case study kind of like for equipment management. GravityKit was also used by Princeton University to manage where like music instrument rentals, like who has what instrument and what rooms were available for practice rooms. Like using GravityKit for that type of inventory management is such an interesting use case.
Yeah, totally, and it's it really works incredibly well for that sort of thing. And so we had some really exciting product releases recently as well in February. So we released GravityImport 2.8.0, which was a big release. We actually talked about it on our previous GravityKit Live, Zach. But this was a really big release that includes a lot of new features, including much improved error handling. And it's got like a fully redesigned field mapping interface as well, which is just a lot easier to work with. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do so. We also have a video here on our YouTube channel where we're kind of going through what's new. So definitely check that out. But yeah, I mean, what was your favorite feature or favorite addition in this release, Zach?
Well, now that you mention it, Casey, I think our support tickets for GravityImport have plummeted since this release. I think this release answers so many of the common issues that people were having with GravityImport that I'm just happy with GravityImport's state right now. It's like so much easier to use, especially with large forms. Like if you've had forms that have, like our customers have forms with like 300 fields in them. That previously, because I wanted to have it be like as if you were browsing an Excel spreadsheet, right, where you scroll sideways for each column represents an exported column. I thought that it was the right mapping, but clearly having a vertical mapping system is easier to do when you have hundreds of fields or even 30 fields. It's a lot easier to manage. So I'm just thrilled that GravityImport is so much better now. It's an overall quality of life improvement.
Yeah, totally agree. And another exciting update we had this month was the release of GravityBoard version 1.3.0. And this saw support for Gravity Forms entry tags. So you can add these color-coded labels on your board cards. And this was quite a highly requested feature, actually, for GravityBoard.
Yeah, and our Gravity Forms entry tags field is a free plugin that we offer. So if you've always wanted to tag entries based on common keywords, you can do that now. Before, with Gravity Forms, so many customers have previously added tags in the Gravity Forms form editor, inadvertently connecting their post tags to their entries and creating like ghost WordPress posts as they submit each form. That was a mess. And every time people contacted support, it's like, I have all these posts that I don't remember creating. What happened? All I wanted was tagging. Well, we added tagging as a native Gravity Forms field rather than a WordPress post tags field that Gravity Forms also adds. So having color-coded tags makes it super easy. In the Gravity Forms interface, you can click a tag and filter by that tag immediately. Works the same way in GravityView. And finally, with GravityBoard, you can now see color-coded tags that also, it's a really nice enhancement that works great with GravityBoard.
Yeah, totally agree. Awesome. So, Zach, like you mentioned at the beginning, the kind of theme for this GravityKit Live is looking at the different ways to use advanced filtering, conditional logic inside GravityView and the kind of use cases that unlocks. But also looking at all the different ways to do it and when to use which method, right? This is something that often trips people up. We have our advanced filtering extension with GravityView Pro. We have field conditional logic. We also have our gvlogic shortcode. They're all very powerful, but it's not always clear, or it's not always obvious to people which one they should use in which circumstance. So we're going to be going through some demos today to hopefully clarify that and show you how these things work. And as part of this, we just published a new doc on our doc site going through this exact thing. But don't worry, you don't need to read this whole thing. You can just keep watching GravityKit Live, and we will, we'll do some practical demos that'll help you kind of figure this out and hopefully take your GravityView knowledge to the next level.
Yeah, and a lot of people, if you're using gvlogic shortcode, we have a lot of gvlogic stands out there. I'm one of them. gvlogic is super powerful. But if you find yourself using gvlogic a lot, that's a sign that maybe you should be using a different structure for your view, including field conditional logic. So I'm really excited to dive into this and explore the different use cases.
Yeah, me too. So I thought we would start with just a simple overview of each of these methods to kind of get an idea of how they each work and kind of when to use which one. So as a quick description of what I'm talking about, GravityView Pro includes the advanced filter extension. And the advanced filter allows you to filter entries or allows you to apply conditional logic at the entry level. So essentially, you can show or hide entries based on conditions that you set. And there's a lot of powerful things you can do with that. With the advanced filter, you also get field conditional logic, which allows you to apply conditional logic at the field level. So you can show or hide fields based on these different conditions. Then we have gvlogic, which is a shortcode that comes with GravityView. You can actually use it anywhere on your site, but it's often used inside views. And that gives you additional possibilities because with gvlogic, you can use it in a custom content field. And that allows you to work with fields, but you can actually transform the output by pulling in external data as well and doing things like wrapping fields and HTML tags and changing the look and feel of things based on conditions. But like Zach said, it's not always clear when to use gvlogic and when to use field conditional logic. So we'll kind of go through some examples and see how this all works. So let's get started with just the advanced filter. So let me open up my view here. And you can see I've just got a basic view set up, and I've got some contacts in here. So I've got the name, the email, the phone, and the department. And the first thing we're going to do is just use the advanced filter, very simple, to only display contacts that work in the marketing department, right? And we can do that by just scrolling down, going to the view settings. We're going to click on the filter and sort tab. We're going to add a condition, and then we're going to say department is, and then we get this dropdown. We can select which department we want. We can leave that as marketing. So department is marketing, and then we can go update the view, and we'll refresh that. And there we go, right? So we're just displaying all the entries where the department is marketing. So it's very simple, very straightforward. So we're applying conditional logic at the entry level.
Yeah, so this limits the entries that are visible in the view regardless of anything else. Any searches that are performed happen within the entries that are pre-filtered. So if you perform a search for anything now, Casey, in this view, those results are limited to the Department of Marketing. This is a great way to make sure that only these entries are visible in this view, regardless of whatever happens. And are we also, Casey, can you show them also what groups look like for the logic groups?
Yeah, we'll get into
Okay.
another example after this one.
Cool.
And we'll go into that. But yeah, exactly like what Zach was talking about. The advanced filter is super powerful because you can have multiple conditions here. You can add conditions within groups, and then you can link groups of conditions with and or, and have like multiple groups and stuff. So you can get very granular, and that really allows you to display entries exactly how you need them to show up. And the advanced filter is great for displaying entries based on conditions that relate to field values, but you can also do that for entry meta. Like you can look at like entry ID and entry date. You have access to all this entry meta as well, and then you have access to the current user role as well, and also the login status of the user. So there's a lot you can do, and I'll show you a couple more examples as we go. All right, so we've got this condition here, department is marketing, but you can see our view on the front end. A lot of entries don't have phone numbers associated with them, so they're just kind of empty cells. And that's not great. So for example, we might want to actually display some text in here if the value is empty. And that's a perfect use case for field conditional logic, because now we're looking to apply a condition at the field level. So if we head back to our view, we're going to scroll up and click this, open the settings here for the phone field. And then you'll see under visibility, we have conditional logic, and we can add a condition just like we did to the view, but this is being applied at the field level. So now I'm going to go ahead and say phone, let's say, is not empty. So show this field if the number isn't empty. Otherwise, in the empty field content, let's show something like no phone number submitted, right? So we've got that set up, and let's update the view, head back to the view, refresh, and there we go. So now we've got that condition being applied at the field level for when phone numbers are empty. So now let's go over a quick example of gvlogic. And what I'm going to do is just remove this advanced filter condition that we have applied to the view, just so we can see all of the entries. And then I'll head back to the view here. And you can see for the department, we have some nice styling on the field values. So like engineering shows up in blue, and then marketing is purple, sales is green, human resources yellow, etc. And to apply those styles, what we're doing is we're looking at the value of the field, and then we're dynamically adding a CSS class to it, depending on that value, so that we can style it. We can have unique styles per department. And we're doing that with gvlogic. So if I go back to the view, you can see my department field is actually a custom content field. And if I open that, I'll make it a bit bigger, you can see I'm using the gvlogic shortcode here to control the output. So here I'm using gvlogic. If department is engineering, then output this, right? And all this is just an HTML tag, and I've applied a CSS class to it, in this case, department engineering. And then I'm outputting the department here via the Gravity Forms merge tab for that field. And then I'm essentially doing the same thing here for all of the different departments. So if department is sales, output this, and then I'm just changing the CSS class based on the departments. We have department sales, department marketing, department human resources. And then if I get out of this and just go to the custom code panel, you can see my CSS is added to the view here in the custom code. And if I scroll down, you can see I've got these classes set up. So department engineering, department marketing, department sales. And those are being dynamically added in based on the value of the field. So that's a really good way to style the output like we have it here on the front end. So I think that's just a good example of a good simple example of when GVLogic can be really helpful when you want to actually not just conditionally show or hide fields, but you actually want to transform the output based on a condition.
Yeah, and if you, during Casey's demonstration of the phone field example, this is something that people often do with GVLogic, and we try to nudge them back to using the official field, because one of the things that you get when you use an actual field, not a custom content field, is you get to be able to sort and you get to be able to search, and those are only available for fields, not custom content fields. So if you wanted to search the phone number, for example, if you use GVLogic in a custom content field, you wouldn't be able to do that unless you added the phone field as a searchable field. So there are reasons beyond, there are reasons to not use GVLogic and a custom content field and actually use a field conditional logic option instead.
Yeah, that's a great point. If what you're doing with GVLogic is simple enough to do with field conditional logic, it's always better to do it with field conditional logic. It's also, as I understand, it's more efficient and it tends to load faster as well, especially for views with a lot of entries, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So let's continue. So the next demo, I want to kind of zoom in on the advanced filter and look at some really cool use cases and popular use cases for that. So I have another view set up here, and let's just go ahead and open that. So again, just a simple table, but this time I'm showing tasks. So like, running like a task management system or something with GravityView is often a popular thing to do. And as you can see, I've got the name of the task, the project that it's related to, the status, the priority, and then I have an assign to field where you can actually assign the task to a specific user. And for this, I'm using our free add-on called GravityForms Dynamic Lookup. And if I head back to if I actually preview the form, sorry, and then we can see what that field is doing. So here's our form, and then the assign to field is here at the bottom, and it's a drop-down. And you can see that what it's actually doing is pulling in all the WordPress users on my site dynamically so that I can select one of them here. And this is what GravityForms Dynamic Lookup does. It allows you to select a data source. You can choose WordPress users. You can choose WordPress posts or even GravityForms entries. And then you can pull them in dynamically and use them as choices in a GravityForms select field. So that's really powerful. So this is pulling in our users, and it's allowing us to assign a task to them. Okay, so let's head back to the view. So now what we want to do is we want to create a view that's dynamic, that's only displaying tasks that are assigned to the user who's logged in. So we only want users to see tasks that are assigned to them. We don't want them necessarily to have to see all the tasks. So what we're going to do is scroll down here, go to filter and sort, add a condition here on our advanced filter. And then what we'll do is we'll choose the assign to field. We'll leave this as is. And then here we have a bunch of preset options. So we can choose currently logged in user. We can also select like an individual user from our site, or we can choose currently logged in user disabled for administrators. In this case, I'm going to just choose currently logged in user. So what this does is ensures that whoever the logged in user is only sees the tasks that have been assigned to them. So now let me update the view. And then I'll just refresh it here. And as you can see, all these tasks are assigned to me, assigned to Casey. I only have 2, so I'm only seeing those tasks. Now what I'm going to do is just log in as, or log out first, and then I'll log in as another user, and we'll see how that we'll see how those tasks in the view get updated. So let me go ahead and log in as Lawrence here, and then we'll head back to the view page. And now you can see I'm logged in as Lawrence Carter, and I can only see the tasks assigned to Lawrence here. So this is a great way to have one view set up that serves multiple users. So you don't need to create separate views. You can just have one single view, and it's only one view to maintain, and it's a lot easier that way. But multiple users can interact with it and have somewhat of a personalized experience.
Yeah, and this is great for membership sites that have membership dashboards. So if somebody logs in and you get taken to a membership dashboard and you want to be able to show them only their entries, only entries assigned to them, only entries like an order form dashboard, for example, for orders placed in Gravity forms, or a vacation request form, and you want to see the vacation requests and the status of them and any comments left by the administrators who approve, reject, deny, request for revision. All of this stuff can be implemented with GravityView and advanced filtering, and it's really powerful for membership sites especially.
Yeah, totally. And building these kinds of membership and client portals are definitely a popular use case. And you can do some really cool stuff where you can create multiple views that are pulling data from multiple different forms, but then embed each of those views into the single entry page of like a master view. So you have this master view that is showing all these subviews with all this data that's coming from different forms. So you have this like unified dashboard with all the different data that you're collecting related to like a specific user. So you can do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, if you're using things like Salesforce still, and you're kind of using it in a simple way that Salesforce is, if anybody's used Salesforce, if you logged in, it's so powerful, right? You can do anything with Salesforce, but if you're only doing kind of basic stuff, consider getting rid of Salesforce. Bring it all into your WordPress site. It's going to be easier to maintain, easier for people to modify. Salesforce is a rabbit hole of configurations that GravityView and GravityKit can help with.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, so since we're on this advanced filter demo, I wanted to just get into like what you were talking about earlier, Zach, with these like different condition groups and things like that, because you can really have some granular conditions set up here. So we have like assigned to currently logged in user, but then we could add another condition, make it like an and. So and, for example, let's say priority is high or priority is not low, for example. So we only want people to see the tasks that are assigned to them where the priority is above low. And then, you can even chain like another group here. And then you could say like, or, for example, the assigned to field is, we could select custom choice and then just leave it as empty, right? So if like there's a task that's been added, but it hasn't been assigned to anybody, maybe it should show up for everybody. And then the minute somebody assigns it to themselves or assigns it to somebody else, then it's their task and it disappears from other people's views, for example.
Right. So one of the things, Casey, I think we should probably show is that your example of priority is not low. That will prevent any other priorities from appearing in the view. But let's say you want a user to be able to filter the priority, show all the priorities on a single view, and then filter them themselves and choose which ones to see. You would do that using the search bar. Can we show that, Casey?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to leave this here, or should we go straight to the search bar?
Well, let's remove it, actually.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the search bar widget is another kind of powerful piece of the puzzle here, which allows users to actually search and like filter things themselves, right, from the front end. But you can only search and filter stuff that the advanced filter is allowing through, which is what Zach was talking about in the beginning there. Yeah, so we can add a search field here for priority. There we go. And maybe we'll do a, yeah, horizontal update. I wonder if I have any low priority tasks assigned to myself. I don't think I do.
Right.
But we can get rid of this condition completely. Refresh that. Yeah, and so now we have a nice drop-down, which is available to all users that are viewing.
Casey, your audio cut out there. The drop-down of the priority will show the different priority statuses. And right now you can see in the view, high, medium, high, high, low, low, all the different priorities are shown. And then the user themselves can choose what priorities to show in the view by filtering.
Right. Medium. And there we go.
So the priority, Casey just updated priority to medium, and now only the medium values are shown. So that's an example of when you're deciding what to do for advanced filtering, think first about what you want the users to be able to access. From a security standpoint is often one of the questions. And from like an area of responsibility standpoint is another. So like, let's say you have tickets coming in, and some of the tickets are for IT, and some of them are for marketing, and some of them are for support. Maybe you have a support dashboard. You only want to show the support tickets. You don't want to show the rest of them. But you also still want the support team to be able to filter and search within those results. So you set up an advanced filtering rule that says only show these tickets, and then you allow filtering and searching within those by using the search bar.
Yeah, exactly. How's my audio, Zach?
Not working.
Not working.
But I can take over from here for a little bit. In the meantime, while Casey's getting his audio back up and running, there is a question about what to do. What about when in search? I want only the entry with exact values to show. And if none of them show, then it shows no results. So a very, very specific search that doesn't drag any relating values to the search. So it's funny. Casey's audio is working fine, and it's my audio that's rough. So turns out I might be the problem here. Thanks, James. I will take a pause on that.
Oh, this is how strange. All right. Can anyone confirm that they can hear me okay in the chat? It seems like that might be the case, but I just want to make sure before I continue with any demos.
Okay. How do I sound now?
You sound good to me, Zach.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. Casey's audio is perfect.
Okay.
Computers.
Well, cool. Good to know.
Okay.
All right, we're back. We're back.
Okay.
All right, good. Thanks for letting us know. We appreciate that.
Thanks, everybody.
Cool. So Zach, shall I just continue with the next demo, or did you have something you wanted to conclude?
Yeah, let's continue with the next demo. We will. I will pull up the example for Crescent Studio Arts, and I'll address that in the Q&A section.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so let's make sure I am where I need to be. Let's see. Not that one. We are over here. Okay, cool. All right, so I wanted to give an example of like when not to use GVLogic, because this is something like we mentioned previously. people often aren't sure when to use GVLogic versus the standard field conditional logic. And if you're using GVLogic, in a view with like a lot of entries, for example, that shortcode has to execute on every entry, and it can often slow down the load time for your view. And you can avoid that entirely by just using field conditional logic. So let's take a look at this view on the front end. And what we can see here is that we have a simple table view. And again, we have email and phone fields. And sometimes these fields aren't filled out properly, or they're just left empty, right? And so we wanted to just display some text here to show that that field was not submitted. So we've got some red text showing like no phone number, no email, etc. And maybe this will prompt us to go in there and make sure we have that data. So right now, how I'm doing this is using GVLogic. And what I've done is I've added 2 custom content fields to my view, one for the phone field and one for the email. And then what I've done is I've added a GVLogic shortcode in here to say if phone is not empty, show the phone number. Otherwise, else, output this. And this is just a simple HTML span tag with a color red applied to it. And then the text is no phone number, right? So like Zach was saying, if we've got fields showing up in a custom content field, it's difficult to sort them and search them. And if you've got like a lot of entries, then this is just kind of an inefficient way to do it. And you don't need GVLogic in this case. What we can do instead is just use the basic field conditional logic. So what I'll do is I'll get out of this and I'll just I'll go ahead and add the phone field and the email. Oh, let me go and just refresh this. Okay, let's go ahead and add the phone and the email field. And then what I'll do is just click into the settings here. I'll add a condition on the field. And again, we'll just apply that same very simple condition where we're saying phone is not empty. And then in the empty field content, that's when we'll just paste in our little bit of HTML with the color red and the no phone number text here. So we'll just add that into the actual field itself. And then we can remove the custom content version. And then we can do the same. Let's copy this. We can do the same on the email field. We can scroll down, just add that same condition there. Email is not empty, and then we'll add that in there. So now we've got the same condition applied on the field itself rather than a custom content field. So those fields will be searchable and sortable. And it's going to have the exact same output here, as you can see. So that's just a very simple example of when GVLogic is actually a bit too complex. It's not quite needed for such a simple condition, and it's better just to use the regular field conditional logic.
Yeah, and I want to point out a couple of things, Casey, that you were doing that people might not know about. When you were configuring the field, you clicked the background to close the modal, to close the field settings. And I just want to call that out that that's possible, because sometimes people they scroll back up and click the X. Can you just show what that looks like?
Yeah, great point. So you're saying they just click here.
Yes. So you don't have to click. If you're watching, you don't have to click that X. You can just click the background and it closes the field settings. Another thing that, yeah, and it says like, when you save the view, it's the same thing as clicking the X. Another thing that Casey does during the demos, but it's also not necessary, instead of clicking the gear icon specifically, you can double click on the field setting, the field itself, and double clicking the field anywhere in the field will open up the field settings. You don't need to click the gear icon. So these are some nice little shortcuts that you can use while you're using GravityView to speed up your view experience.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, so the last demo I have here is looking at GVLogic and how you can use GVLogic to pull in external data and then display that data based on conditions that relate to your entries. So I thought a good example here is like a membership site. So Zach, I know we've had a couple of requests asking about like, how do I display different icons for different members and or change the badge that a member has based on their membership status and things like that. And GVLogic is great for that sort of thing. So what I've done is I've just set up a very quick and basic view here for my awesome membership site, and I've had.
I want to be a member. That seriously, that badge made me be like, oh, that's a cool membership.
I mean, who wouldn't want that badge, right?
Yeah.
So I just had Gemini generate some simple membership badges here, and so I've got elite gold member status, we've got elite bronze member status, and then of course silver member status as well. And all of our members obviously have signed up with Gravity Forms, and they have profiles and things like that are all being run through Gravity Forms. But we want to give them a badge depending on what membership level they have, right? And we want that badge to be automatically updated when they update their membership to the next tier, for example. And so I'm doing that with GVLogic. And if I go back to the view editor, you can see this is how it's set up here using our layout builder. And here I have at the top left here, I've got a custom content field. And if we open that, you can see I'm using the GVLogic shortcode here to say if the membership level is gold, then embed this image. And this is the image that I generated of the gold membership tier badge. And then we have, the same thing set up here. So if the membership level is silver, embed this image. And if it's bronze, embed this image. So this is just a good example of we're not actually working with Gravity Forms field data. We're not showing or hiding fields based on conditions. We're actually showing or hiding external data, in this case, images that we're embedding. Or it could be like icons, or it could be like other shortcodes, for example, that are outputting information. But we're setting up these conditions based on the field values. So I think that's just a simple example to show when GVLogic can really really help you achieve some powerful use cases.
Well, one of the things that many of our customers are not comfortable editing code, and GVLogic can often feel like code, right? Because it's a shortcode. It has the word code in its name. One of the things you can do in this example, Casey, you could also create 3 different custom content fields and use field conditional logic to show or hide the field based on those same statuses. So you can get rid of the shortcodes and only have the image embeds if that's something that's more comfortable for either you or the user. You don't need to use GVLogic. You can have multiple custom content fields set up if you want to. That works better in our layout builder and our list layouts. In the tables layouts, each custom content field will show as a column, so that might not work as well. But in this case, it would work. So you could have 3 custom content fields for 3 different levels and only show them depending on the field conditional logic. So I just want people to think about things using GVLogic or field conditional logic for your own use case, because you can play with both of these.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. Definitely finding out, what way works best for you is the way to go. And I just wanted to mention, we've gone over some pretty simple use cases for GVLogic, but it really is a powerful shortcode, and we have some extensive documentation on it on our doc site. For example, we have this documentation article using the GVLogic shortcode, where we really go into detail about all the different parameters and things that it supports. For example, it supports like a logged in parameter, so you can check login status. You can use the shortcode anywhere on your website. There's a ton of cool things you can do with it. So if you're looking to implement these kinds of use cases, definitely check out the documentation. Or if it's just a bit too much for you, go ahead, click this button, copy the page as Markdown, or open it directly in like ChatGPT and just ask it, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you give me the correct shortcode? And it'll help you with that. So yeah, definitely check this out. We also have another doc here which goes into nesting GVLogic shortcodes. And yes, you can nest them to create like AND logic. So you can have GVLogic, and then inside that shortcode, you can have GVLogic 2. So there's some really, really powerful stuff you can do here.
And we don't even document this, but for those mad people out there that really want to go into rabbit holes, we do support GVLogic 3 if you want to nest it
Yes.
3 levels deep and you want to lose your mind.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that, rethink your priorities in life, possibly. Rather, it might be better to have a custom PHP snippet that's done, that you then register a shortcode and embed the shortcode using GVLogic. So that might be good, or using the custom content field.
Right. Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, those were all the demos I had, Zach. I saw we just got a question that came in.
Yeah, let's do some questions. So we have a question that just came in from Gilbert. Can the GravityKit search submit button be AJAX? Currently, that's only set up in the data tables layout, and the data tables layout does dynamically refresh. For the other layouts, that is something that we have planned, hopefully for this year. That's on our development board. So that's a great question. We also have a question about exact match search. So Crescent Studios Arts asks, what about when in search I want only the entry with exact values to show, and if it doesn't match, then it doesn't show, and it doesn't drag any related field values into the search. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share a very specific window. Let's see if this works. Oh boy, okay. Can you see it, Casey?
I can just see the endless recursion for now.
Oh gosh. Okay, sorry, y'all. Remove that, and now...
Oh, that's my screen. That's why.
Yeah. All right.
Let me add it. Sorry.
There we go. Okay. So we have a doc on this called Fine-Tuning Search Results in GravityView with Search Modifiers. So if y'all know, back in the old Google days, if you used quotation marks, it would search for exact matches. So we have that support in GravityView as well. So if you wrap a term in quotes, then you can search for the exact match. So gourmet dining in Spain in quotes will match entries that contain the phrase gourmet dining in Spain. If you don't wrap it in quotes, each one of these words will be searched, and all results that match those will be shown. So wrapping it in quotes is one way to do it. But we also have some additional functionality, including negative matches. So you can include negative Barcelona, and that will exclude the result for that term. And you can also do the same thing for positive, the plus sign, to make sure that the word bar is in the search results, as opposed to it also matching Barcelona. So there are some different settings for this, and you can include, you can do exact match searches by wrapping things in quotation marks. So we do have filters as well for developers out there looking to customize this, and who are wanting to maybe add support for different localization settings, for example. So I hope that answers your question. If not, and if anybody ever has any questions, you can always reach out to us at support@gravitykit.com, and we're super happy to help you with anything that you have questions about. There was another question earlier, and I think I suggested that they get in touch with support. Gilbert asks, how can I use GravityKit to send automated emails? When we upload data that matches a request made by filling a Gravity Forms form. So the key question here, it seems like it's related to GravityImport. And GravityImport has a setting to process notifications. So for each entry, it will process the notifications associated with that entry. So in Gravity Forms, you can set up notifications that can be email notifications, and that email notification can be can have routing rules applied to it to make sure that things are sent only when they match certain conditions. So as long as the form that you're uploading entries into has these notifications set up, GravityImport has the ability to process those notifications as the upload happens. Now, one thing to be aware of, though, is that when you have this setting enabled, it takes a lot longer to upload because every single one needs to send an email, and it slows down the import a little bit, but it's really cool to have that functionality baked into GravityImport. And I think those are the questions that we have asked live. If anybody has additional questions, please let us know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read some of the comments. I see in data tables there's enable row group tables.
Yeah, James O'Sullivan mentions, I see in data tables there's enable row group tables, which is great for my use case. And I'm grouping entries based on product titles, but I'd love an additional order to the table from latest entries first. We actually have double sorting capabilities. And Casey, you've got that demo set up with the different departments. Maybe that's a good example of data tables grouping.
Yeah, let me see if I can hook that up.
All right. Do you mind if I share your screens to show people how you're thinking through this?
Sure, yeah.
All right, so this is the data tables view. So you can see Casey used the
view here.
the GravityView admin bar shortcut to take him to the edit view screen.
And then I'm thinking, I have a priority drop down. I'm thinking that would be a good row group or status even. So if we go to data tables, and enable row group tables, choose a field. Let's do, I guess status works. Okay.
So that will set up the grouping.
That looks like, that's the grouping, yep. All right, that looks good. And now the second part to that was
sorting.
Sorting, okay. So we're going to head back to the settings, filter and sort. And we're going to be sorting by a field, is that right?
Right. So the question said to sort by the product title first, by a field first, and then the entry ID second.
I see. So for example,
so GravityView allows for sorting. So if both people have the same first name, Zach Katz and Zach, I don't know, Apple, then then you would want to sort by first name first, by last name first, and then by first name. So you can do that with our primary sorting field and then secondary sorting field. So James, I believe that's like the way that you would want to set it up. It's a different tab. It's in filter and sort, not in the data tables grouping.
Right. And James also said, or sort by latest entry first. You can do that by just sorting by the date created.
Or the default entry ID is actually the same sorting, because entry IDs are sequential as well.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And then, so you have the sort by field, and then you have a secondary sort as well. And that will apply within the row groups. Yeah,
and you'd probably want to sort descending for the entry IDs so that the highest number is first. So the latest is shown first. Ascending is descending is one of those things like USB-A direction. Like I often have to plug it in 3 times before it's correct. Same thing for sort directions. Ascending, descending, who knows what they are. Just if it's not the right one, switch it to the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And James asks, will this change the group's order? I don't believe so, because the group's order is defined by the data table setting. So that under the data tables group setting, you can say the grouping direction of the grouping row. that's a sorting that's separate from the other sorting.
Right. So you can choose the direction ascending or descending, and I believe that would be applied first before the field sorting, right?
Correct. Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
So
Go ahead. I was just going to say, go ahead and play around with this, James. I'm sure you can figure out the configuration that you need.
Yeah. And then we also have a question, another question coming in from Gilbert. Says, how can I make an entry downloadable by GravityView from the front end? That's a great question. And we can do that in multiple different ways. Any initial thoughts, Casey?
I'm thinking about what format you would want the entry in, because I mean, you can do that. You can download entries directly via GravityView. If you wanted to download a single entry, I mean, you have Gravity PDF as an option. You have GravityImport, which could output the entry in PDF, CSV, or even an Excel file. So I think it really depends on, like, if you're looking to download multiple entries, single entries, and then what format you want. But there's a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah, and there's also, we have REST API endpoints that you can enable, and then you can add a link to the current entry and download them as CSVs. It seems like this is a documentation gap that we can answer, and there are many ways to do this, and we don't have a great doc on it.
Yeah, it's so true. And I just wanted to say that the solutions I mentioned there, like Gravity PDF, for example, it's a free plugin. GravityImport, we have a light version, which is also free. So there are ways to do this without necessarily having to invest in another solution.
Right, and we have a widget on the multiple entry screen that allows you to download entries in different formats that you can add to GravityView. But we don't have widgets enabled in GravityView single entries yet. That is also something that's on the development board, to have a widget structure for single entries. And then we would be able to use that same widget on the single entry screen. So again, please contact support, Gilbert. These are the exact type of questions we're happy to answer all day, every day in support, or every workday. And so please get in touch, and we will give you additional information on this and share the link that we actually write based on your question, because clearly there's a documentation gap.
Yeah, totally.
All right. Are there any other questions? Because I love how many questions there have been. This is a great GravityKit Live.
Yeah, we definitely love getting questions. So yeah, I'm looking to see if there were any others. I think we might have covered all of them, Zach, so far.
Cool. All right. Well, y'all, just a heads up for everybody watching, we've been working on some really cool stuff. In addition to what we showed you today, we have been working nonstop on some awesome things that are designed to make your life easier. We can't wait to show you. Like, honestly, we're really excited about all the things we've been working on. So make sure to sign up for our next GravityKit Live. Make sure to sign up for our newsletter, gravitykit.com/newsletter. That is the best way to stay up to date. We send one email every week with updates every Friday. So if you want to be the first to hear about things, that's a good way to do it. And we've got some big updates to existing plugins. Specifically, GravityBoard is coming out with a new feature really soon that I think y'all are going to love. And also a brand new add-on we've been working on, which I'm not sure when we're going to release this, because things take a little while. But for anybody who's interested in creating dashboards and reports, if you've ever sent anybody any information by email and you wished, can I just send them a link to this that has a nice interactive thing? We're making that easier. Currently, we do that with GravityView, and maybe there's a new plugin in the works. So
yeah,
that's a
lots of
little teaser.
exciting stuff. Can't wait to share more about that.
Yeah, and just a reminder, if you've ever customized GravityKit products, please go to gravitykit.com/beta-tester and sign up to be a beta tester. We want to work closely with you to make sure that everything we do integrates with what you have done.
Yes, that'll be a big help. We have a GravityView 3.0 release coming up, and it'll be awesome for all of you to help test that for us and get it ready.
We have one more question, Casey, from Gilbert.
Okay.
We have, can I embed a product in a view rather than the classic view in a product? Short answer,
Yeah.
if it has a shortcode, yes. GravityView custom content field, you can have it process shortcodes. So if you are using WooCommerce, for example, and you have a WooCommerce shortcode where you want to embed a product, that's one way to do it. If it doesn't have a shortcode, then you can register a shortcode and use it. But yeah, please send us more information and support with additional information about like what kind of e-commerce shopping cart you're using, what kind of products you're talking about. The more details, the better, and we can help you out with this request and make sure that that it works for you. But you know how Casey was demonstrating how to embed different images based on statuses and stuff. You can do the same thing with products, and anything with a shortcode can also be embedded conditionally using gvlogic and stuff too. So yes, short answer yes, long answer let's talk and figure out how we can get that set up right for you.
Yeah, and it's also worth saying, if you happen to be selling products via Gravity Forms, you can also embed a Gravity Form in a view as well.
That's true.
There's a dedicated Gravity Forms field that you can add to your view.
And that allows you to pass in some dynamic values. So you can say embed a form and pre-fill in the product as selected based on the value in the entry. So there's a lot there you can do too. And that requires additional links to documentation.
Yeah.
And James says about our new products and updates, don't tease. Sorry, James. Gotta tease a little bit because I'm excited. And James says the embeddable form inside of Vue is awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a great conversation. Please join us next time on GravityKit Live. Thank you, Casey.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great that everyone tuned in, and I really enjoyed this.
Yeah. Bye.
See you.